All right, we're back. Episode 2.
Yes, sir.
Episode 1 was a fun one, but we're going right into it. We got awesome feedback. Thank you guys so much for all the comments, suggestions, and everything. So we're gonna jump right into episode 2, and we've been talking about what we're gonna talk about, and we are so excited. We did just a little prep in terms of what did we miss on from last week, and then we're gonna jump into it right now. And I actually want to start with a question for you, Carson. I know you've been asking me questions, but I think this is going to be a really good segue into this episode. Going off of what we were talking about last week about alcohol, one thing that we kept mentioning before the camera went out was that we were going to get into the social aspects of alcohol. Yes, I do want to talk about the social aspects of alcohol, but I think what I want to ask you is the social aspects of this, like, health, of trying to live a healthy lifestyle in general. And the main reason I want to ask you this question is because I am so far into it. I'm 4 years into my nutrition journey, 6+ years into my exercise journey. It's so easy for me at this point now to kind of forget what it was like when I was getting into it. So my main question for you, and nothing specific other than I just want you to kind of jump into it, your experience as you're going through it right now. From a social aspect, with friends, with family, those relationships, like, what is the hardest thing for you as you think about things like eating healthier foods and working out more? You're spending more time doing these things. Maybe you're going out less. Like, all of those things. Where does the social aspect come in for you?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Tough spot to start because it just is. It's hard to dial it down to one specific thing or two specific things. For instance, I was at a party this weekend. One of my buddies is going away in the military. Love him. Shout out Luke McCoy. And great time. And I realized in the moment, because I wasn't drinking, everyone around me was drinking. I laughed harder at his party than I have in a while. And I realized you don't really have to drink in order to have a good time. As long as you're around the people that you want to be surrounded with, you're going to have a good time no matter what. Drinking may add an extra layer into that, but you have to be real with yourself. If you really want to take up that challenge and it's something that you want to focus on, and maybe it's not, but if it is, you can still have a good time around people who are drinking. That's a fact. I did it this weekend. I had a great time. I got there at 7:30. I normally would want to leave early if I wasn't drinking. I stayed till 1 a.m., like basically when the party was over. I had a friend who was rapping in front of me. It was just fun. Like, I was laughing with him. We were all sitting there laughing on the couch. I just had a genuine good time. And it did make me realize, reflecting on it, that, dude, I didn't really need to drink. And I probably wouldn't have reflected on those moments as well if I did drink.
But in the moment, knowing you...
So hard. In the moment, it was so hard.
You went into it knowing you weren't going to drink that much?
To be fair, I got clowned in my group chat before.
So that's what I was going to ask. Like, what... Because this is what I think everyone struggles with, especially with alcohol. And I kind of went through it, and I do remember going through it, but, like, especially with alcohol. We'll get into nutrition and just, like, exercise and that stuff, but the peer pressure with alcohol when you're not drinking is insane. And it makes it so hard. It's like...
Yeah, so just... I'll be frank. They know who they are, and I love them to death. I really do. They clowned me in the chat before, and I said this, and I will do this. I will own up to this. If Luke McCoy had asked me to have a beer with him that night, no questions asked, I would have had a beer with him that night. If my friend who's going off in the military asked me to do that, and that's something that he needed or wanted to do, no questions asked. It's not something he asked me to do, nor did he forced me to do, because he's a health guy too, and he necessarily didn't need me to do that. He was happy I was there, and we were all having a good time. But there are exceptions to the rule. But no, yeah, of course I got peer pressured, and I got peer pressured throughout the night, but the more they drink, the more they forgot about it, and we just had a good time together.
Yeah. I think about that a lot because this goes into nutrition and exercise, and it's kind of one of the things I think about a lot is, especially when I'm coaching a lot of my clients is, yes, the education around nutrition, like what to eat, how to exercise, all that's important. But one of the most impact I've made as a coach is getting people through the social aspect. And when I talk about the social aspect with alcohol, we just mentioned that, but with nutrition, for example, what's crazy is, and I feel like a lot of people, and you in particular, will relate to this, you making the better decision, the healthier decision, whether that's at a restaurant, you're getting a salad instead of a hot dog with fries, you probably, one, feel judged, but two, are getting judged just because you are making that healthier decision. So that's why you get that pushback with the alcohol, but I think a lot of people can relate to it from a nutrition perspective.
I laugh as you say that, and you know why? I went out to lunch with a couple of coworkers last week, and my boss ordered first salad. Then my coworker ordered salad, and I was like, "Thank God I can order a salad and not be like an absolute loser." I was like looking like, "Oh, where can I cheat my diet because I'm not going to be the guy to order a salad." They ordered salads, bang, hit the salad, fire.
But that's the example, right? You needed them to do it, even though you wanted to do it so bad. Say they didn't get a salad and they got something normal, burger, whatever it is. Would you have gotten the salad that if they didn't?
No.
Right, but you wanted
Straight up,
it.
I would not have.
You wanted it, or you wanted a burger with no bun.
Love the burger, no bun.
I mean yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Like the peer pressure and the societal pressure is so tough, and that's why so many people struggle with it. And I think it impacts relationships significantly.
Have you seen with your clients the drinking or trying to make the change in their life impacting their own relationships with their loved ones? Maybe it's a girlfriend, maybe. Have you experienced, we'll talk about that. Have you experienced a change in relationships based on your change in lifestyle?
Yeah, so, and this kind of touches on like what I recommend even for my clients if they are really trying to make that big life change. Because let's face it, slowing down or stop drinking alcohol is a massive life change.
Huge.
Obviously from a health benefit perspective, but from that social, the relationship side of it. And when I say it's alcohol, nutrition, it's exercise. So let's just call it living the healthy lifestyle. Absolutely. Look, I think one of the biggest advice I can give to my clients that I do give or anyone listening is like, if you are trying to make any change and you know you want to make that change, the number one way you can do that is to change your environment. And unfortunately, that may mean some of your relationships. And I don't mean to cut people out. There may be people you need to cut out. If you really think about there's that classic saying, they say like, you become the average of the 5 people that you hang the most around. It's very true. And I think one, like a perfect example is when I was in college, when I was with the rugby team, having fun, drinking. That's why I was drinking. That's why I wasn't eating as clean. I was still always working out just because I loved it. But it was just because that was the people around me. That's all I knew. My biggest thing when it comes to making a huge lifestyle change like that, especially for example, one of my clients who was over 300 pounds, very obese, and really wanted to lose weight, I was like, hey man, you're gonna have to change your environment. And it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to not talk to people that you want to talk to every single day because they're not helping you, unfortunately.
Okay, let me, not to cut you off, but this is going to be a deep question because you keep saying changing environment, and maybe you don't have to, and you might have to cut people out or so on and so forth. I bring it up to my personal relationship with my girlfriend, and I want to preface it like this. Aside from her being an absolute rocket, shout out.
No free shout outs.
She loves to have a good time. And generally that good time is with her friends. She's a very outgoing person, and it's drinking. And it's actually not the drinking aspect. I don't care. It's actually one of the things I love about her. She's awesome. She's the life of the party, right? And she puts teary-eyed. And she puts me in some situations as I get boring at times. She puts me in situations around her friends, social situations that I genuinely love to be in. And sometimes that's at a bar scene. And sometimes that's talking to people who are drinking all night. And I have a genuinely good time. And I appreciate her for taking me out on a limb and putting me in some situations that I love to be in. So do you really have to change your environment? Or do you have to take a deep look inside yourself and be honest and say, I'm making excuses. I can still be in those environments. I just have to live the way I told myself I'm going to live. Because I've done that in the past. Not to ramble here, but I've been to the bar and I've been sober and then I end up drinking and I'm like, well, my girlfriend asked me to go out. Doesn't mean you had to drink. And it doesn't mean you don't get to go out either. You can still go have a good time in those environments if you are real with yourself and be true to yourself, I think. It's easier said than done. And I'm still learning to do that.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so there's two things there.
Little ramble.
No, I like that because this is important. I think, I mean, look, I said it again, like, the importance of the education around all this health stuff is right there, but even as I coach our other coaches, one thing that you see is that not all of them focus on this aspect of it, and it's so important. So bringing it up is huge. So two things there. One, I want to get into, okay, if you have to change your environment, but you're talking about like significant relationships that you are not going to cut out, I want to get into that. So let me put that on the back burner. Focusing on that second part that you're talking about. What was that main point again?
That I can...
Oh, the excuses.
Yes.
The excuses.
Yeah.
So talking about the excuses. Look, I think this is where the struggle with peer pressure gets into it, where peer pressure is so heavy on people that it blocks out all those excuses. So yes, they are excuses, but you have you lose all of your logical thinking because of the amount of pressure you're feeling by the people that are your friends, that are in your circle, that you are with every single day. So it's tough in the moment, like when you're getting that peer pressure, to be like, all right, let me logically think and like, am I making an excuse or am I making the right? Like that's tough. Right. So that's easier said than done. I mean, look, you can just, you just gonna tell yourself like, yeah, I'm making an excuse. I don't have to actually drink. Yeah, you could, but I think if someone can do that, that's a solution. I don't think everyone can do that, which is why I really want to focus on, okay, if you are really thinking about living a healthier lifestyle, maybe that significant other is I don't want to say not living it, but doesn't have the same like push that you have. I think it just comes down to just having a real conversation. Like, hey, I don't want you to stop doing what you're doing. I just want you to understand what I'm doing and where I'm coming from, and let them know, like, let them understand. Just because I'm not drinking doesn't mean I'm not having fun. Just because I'm not
right.
partying and taking shots, I'm still laughing just like you did at the party. I think it's just making sure that they're aware of, look, alcohol doesn't directly equal fun, and no alcohol doesn't directly equal no fun. They can cross over, and I think just being clear and having that conversation, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your brother, your sister, your family member, whoever it is, if they love you, they truly love you and care for you, they are going to be proud that you're making that decision because you are doing something that not many people can commit to.
Yeah. That's deep, huh?
That's deep.
Oh.
That's deep.
Yeah. Now, have you seen it affect your relationships, you making the change?
So, yeah, absolutely. When I talk about changing the environment, the only reason I recommend that and I really tell my clients to do that kind of stuff is because I did it myself. I really coach based off experience, and that's the experience I kind of went through. Is I did change my environment, but I am a different situation than everyone else.
It's not a cookie cutter plan.
But also, like, from outside looking in, when people are looking at me in my life, I'm the health guy. They know, like, my Instagram.
Right.
I'm Mano Wellness, like, they know I'm the health guy. So people see me I don't get that peer pressure that you guys get because that's not pressure to me. It's my lifestyle. People are expecting that from me.
Right.
So like one of the biggest things is for me as a coach is I lead by example. But it's easy for me because this is my life. Like this is what I do. This is what I die for. I don't have that peer pressure. I don't care. If someone wants to judge me because I'm not drinking, like, hey man,
Yeah.
I'm a health coach. So it's a lot easier for me. But yeah, I did change my environment. When I went right from undergrad to graduate school, that second year I wasn't playing rugby. I wasn't going out to many parties, and therefore I was building the business. I was working day in and day out. I was doing my research. I was starting that trajectory towards that healthy lifestyle because I completely changed the people I was around.
Right.
And I was actually living with a random roommate at the time, and he was also a post-grad. He had a job. He was working he was like a hybrid job, and he was working so hard. He was up at 5 a.m. He was working late nights. So because my environment literally went from a college house, college setting, I was living in a college apartment with parties and pre-games and drinking. The second I was out of there, and I was with a guy that was up at 5 o'clock with me, that it was just a natural and I don't want to say easy, but a simple transition because of my environment.
Now, it would have been harder, but do you think that you could have done it in the first environment?
Absolutely, just because of my passion for health, for what I wanted to build. Ever since I really started getting into, definitely when I started one-on-one coaching, and that was 2021, the summer before grad school. I was deep into this, and I had such a love and a passion for it. So
Yeah.
that love and passion would have pushed me through that. But that's only because I'm in the space.
Right.
So yes, I can say that even if I was in that area, and it did trickle down. Even when I was in the rugby house, I still started slowly drinking less and less, but I was still eating healthy foods. Like I always remember, I'll get made fun of my late night meal. I know we're talking about alcohol and having food after. My late night meal, I would have a yogurt bowl with fruit, honey, whatever else in it. So like I was still on that way of eating healthier, but there was a much better balance where now it's definitely flipped over.
Yeah, and it didn't happen in one day, right?
It was 3 years.
So I'll say this too, and I think back to this weekend. Not only does changing your diet, changing a lifestyle not happen in one day, but finding the balance that you actually want doesn't happen in one day either. And what I mean by that is, look, I'm not drinking at the moment, and a bunch of my friends and my girlfriend went to the bar to watch the Eagles game. I decided not to because I didn't want to drink, and I watched it with a buddy at his house. Big win. Reflecting, looking back, I wish I was there. I should have been there. It would have been with people who I genuinely enjoy being around, and I would have had a great time because I know the vibe was unbelievable because the Eagles won.
Yes.
But I asked her when she came home, I said, "Did you have a good time?" She said, "I had such a good time. I was around everyone. Everyone was in good vibes, and I should have been there." So just because you're not drinking doesn't mean you can't do it, but finding the right balance is something that doesn't happen overnight either, and it's something it's really hard to balance.
Yeah. So I want to dive a little bit deeper in the social aspect in terms of our society and our societal norms, because I think this is important. Like, look, this podcast, these are our conversations. So like I want to bring up something that I think isn't talked about enough, but it's the reality of it. So what I really struggle with from our society, and I do think this is changing with kind of like this push for Make America Healthy Again. What's really sad that I've realized is even if you're thinking from a from a legality perspective, the things that are legal in our country, a lot of them have negative health outcomes. And there's a lot of things that are illegal that have positive health outcomes.
Hit me with some stuff.
And so I'll give some examples,
Yes.
but one of the things I actually heard from Elon Musk was saying it. He was on, I think it was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was like, the way I determine if something is good for me, and there's obviously caveats here, but there's a very general statement. He's like, the way that I think about if someone's good for me is, does blank make me a better person? Right? So you insert whatever that is, and again, you could create so many, like, again, like you can play with this phrase, but I do think from a baseline perspective, if you insert a lot of things into your life, that statement could go a long way. So some of the examples is, look, alcohol, right? We just talked about alcohol and its prevalence for cancer. Alcohol is not going where. It's legal, and it's here to stay. A really good example that just actually got banned by the FDA is the use of psychedelics for PTSD for veterans.
It got banned?
It got denied. It did not get approved, and there is research showing the benefits of it. And that's where that statement comes into play, because if there's a veteran out there that's struggling with PTSD and they've tried doing a clinical dose of psychedelics where it's in either a research study or it's by a physician or someone who knows what they're doing, they could say, yes, these psychedelics help me with my PTSD, right? So that's just a very simple example. When it comes to society, that's where I struggle so much, and I really try to relay this to people, is there are a lot of things that are regulated that are not in our benefit. And again, you can just look at the food system in general. Perfect example, again, is all the amount of ingredients that are banned in Europe and other countries that are not banned in the U.S. We just saw red dye just get banned. It took long enough.
Yeah.
It took long enough. It's just so that.
Yeah, wait. So I saw on your school, no plugs, but your platform.
Mano Wellness community.
There we go. So there's like a red dye 30 and then like a red 3 or like.
They're
what?
all dyes. Food coloring.
That's
Artificial
all it
food
is?
coloring.
Okay.
Yeah. All you'll see, red, blue, yellow. They're all food dyes.
Gotcha.
They have one purpose. To color food. That's it. There's no reason for it.
Yeah.
But so when again with to kind of sum up the society thing, like that's where I really struggle, and that's why everyone struggles, is because if you are just following the general guidelines, like if you're someone who wants to get healthier and you're walking down the aisle in the grocery store and you see on the box it says heart healthy, you're gonna grab that because you're trying to eat healthier. But little did you know it's a box of Cheerios.
What do you mean? We're not allowed to have Cheerios?
It says heart healthy on it.
But a little bit of sugar on top?
There's already sugar on top.
A little bit extra.
So we're definitely going to be getting into nutrition eventually in these
Yeah.
episodes. But focusing on the society, like thoughts, takeaways, like have you noticed that? Or is that just like so outside of our norm that people don't really understand?
You say our
that?
norm. Your norm.
My norm, sorry.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. This is why this is good.
I'm not fully there. Like I don't have the answer. I'm looking for the answer, I guess. Like can you tell me why drinking is as popular as it is as a social event?
I just think because it's been in our world for so long. Imagine the Game of Thrones thing. Like, it's just been here for so long. And
Yeah, but why is that like our getaway?
Well, all right. So this could get into a whole different thing in terms of like the baseline question of why we drink, why we do.
Well, so I think that goes in. Does that not go into like the social aspect? Like, why do us as people, me and all my friends, like why do we accept that that's what we're doing? If a football game's on, that's what we're doing while we watch it. Why is that the go-to?
It's ingrained in society.
Yeah.
It's
So
ingrained.
like I don't think there's one answer in like what the social aspect is. I can tell you I'm trying to figure it out.
Everyone is. Me too.
I don't know if I'll ever get the answer. Sometimes I wish there was just like a substitute because I genuinely love being around my friends and they're hilarious, sober or drunk. Sometimes they're a little funny or drunk, but I'm just trying to figure out that balance for myself without drinking the alcohol and figuring out kind of not the work-life balance. It doesn't make sense, but like the times to enjoy it and the times to sit some things out. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's pivot to nutrition and exercise and talk a little bit about because I feel like from what I've seen, there's a little less social pressure. There's a little more social. Let's put it in order. Alcohol at the top with social
No
pressure.
doubt. Not
then
even close.
Nutrition. Then I would say exercise. And the reason I say that is because for example, going out to dinner.
I don't think there's any social pressure on exercise.
I don't think. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think actually a lot of people now are using exercise as a social thing to do. Go
True.
for a walk.
Yeah,
and stuff
which
like
is
that.
cool.
Go for a walk. That's us right there.
Which is cool.
That's how we started.
Which is cool.
So nutrition, like
Meet me at the gym, have fun at the gym. Like, yeah, it's becoming social, which is very cool.
yeah. So, do you feel that?
Vodka soda.
No, it's a limoncello. Oh wait,
No, they don't know what brand.
LaCroix.
LaCroix.
They're free
All right,
shout-outs.
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you feel that from nutritional perspective
No,
as you
I
try to
don't.
eat healthier?
No, I don't feel it. I mean, I don't feel it, but then talked about how I thought I was a loser for ordering a salad. So, like, I guess I subliminally feel it, but I don't. I don't feel the social pressure. I think every time I slip up on my diet, I try to pinpoint why. And every time I slip up, I start to, like, if you see me drinking Diet Coke, it means I'm going down the wrong path. And I'll say it, and this is why I say it. I'll start tea, water, coffee. If my diet's dialed, I'm drinking tea, water, and coffee, right? If I move on to Diet Coke, it means I'm testing the waters, right? Because that Diet Coke turns into, it's just, like, I'll have one Diet Coke, and then I'm drinking Diet Coke the next day.
Ooh,
And then I'm changing the grilled
domino.
and then I'm changing the grilled chicken to a chicken cutlet. And then I'm putting that chicken cutlet on a wrap. And now all of a sudden I'm at the Rook. I'm having a chicken cutlet wrap with a cucumber mint stateside out back watching the game. And then I'm like, fuck, Carson, you did it again. We did all that work and you're right back to where you are. And I enjoy a couple weeks eating my chicken cutlets and then I'm back. So the cycle gets shorter each time. That's what I'm happy about, is each time I recognize it faster.
I'm so happy you said that.
Each time I recognize it faster, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And it all starts with like they say, like a gateway drug. It all starts with like something that's a substitute for health, like a diet or like a healthy snack, but it's not. And then you dip your toe in, and then a couple weeks later, you're fully in.
Okay. This is what we can dive into because I think this is so important. You nailed it, right? Where you're gonna have another fallback, right? You're gonna have another Diet Coke. You're gonna go back at some point.
They're
We
all
don't
gonna
know-
see it.
We don't know when it's gonna happen.
You're gonna see another chin come out.
It's gonna happen during this pod.
It will. 100%. I can tell you for a fact.
But the
you will see
key
it.
that I really want to emphasize there that I wanted to elaborate on is every single time you come back, it's shorter.
It's faster.
It's faster.
Yeah.
This is so important because I am just, again, as a coach, I'm not a big fan of the all or nothing mindset. I say that where what actually got me started was 75 hard. And that isn't all or nothing mindset, challenge, diet. But the reason I'm not in all or nothing, and this is why I don't have a diet, I don't coach in keto or something specific, is because if you go all in, it's going to end at some point. And the biggest thing with 75 hard is, all right, what happens on day 76?
Dude, but I can't play the gray. Like, I know you say no all or nothing, but if you're playing like the gray, I don't know where the line is.
I get that. So, but why I'm saying that about the all in is
I get that.
I think the biggest reason that I've gotten to the point where I'm at is because I didn't go all in. I allowed myself to fail, and then what you do is you learn from those failures. So let's give the perfect example of cheat meals. All right. A lot of coaches say absolutely no cheat meals. It's going to completely destroy your results. My perspective is, sure, if you want to have a cheat meal, go for it.
What's a cheat meal?
A cheat meal is whatever that satisfaction is for you. Like, for me, my cheat meals are very different than most people.
I know for a fact.
Right.
They're different.
So, but here's my point, though, with that. This is a perfect example. Cheat meals, right? I don't recommend, but I say to my clients, if you want to have a cheat meal, go for it. Satisfy that dopamine. That's a whole different conversation, the dopamine.
Oh,
this is the foundation of it.
Yes.
But I'm like, satisfy it. Go for it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have that cheat meal. You are going to regret it. You're going to feel so bad about it that the next time you do it, it might be a little bit less. You're still going to do it again, but it might be a little bit less.
So you're going to come around a little fast.
Right? So this is how I came around because I looked forward to my cheat meals more than anything. More than anything. It was every Saturday. Actually, let me be real, it was a cheat day. Every Saturday, I would just indulge. I would feel like crap. I would be bloated, disgusted.
Whoa, talk to us about your normal hitters on the cheat meal.
I will. But I'll wake up Sunday morning feeling like absolute crap. And then when the next Saturday came around, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a cheat meal, but I'm not going to do what I did last time. Right? So then it scales down. So when I first started with my cheat meals, this was like when I first started my nutrition, and I was tracking my food and all that kind of stuff. I would have any kind of cheat meal like anyone else would have. I would have, I was in college at the time, so I was never a big fast food person, but I would go to dining halls and I would just absolutely go nuts. Like, it's unlimited food. I would eat as much as I want, then I would stay there, do work, and then get another meal before I left. So, like, I've never been a fast food guy. That wasn't really my cheat meal. What satisfied me was just big boluses of food, pasta.
Just overeating.
Yeah. And now, and I will say it was bad quality food. Absolutely. Especially from the dining rooms.
But once you use that swipe,
you gotta take advantage of it, right? In college we would go to these all you can eats. Oh, there was this all you can eat sushi place. Dude, that was my that was my favorite.
Yeah.
We would go to this place at JMU, and it was shout out Sushi Village. No free shout outs, bro. Unlimited rolls. You ever have Goonies, crab rangoons?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Unreal.
I don't know what that is.
Load up, and what you do is you just sign a little piece of paper. She'll bring you back another one when you want more food, bro.
This is at a dining hall?
No, this was like right outside of campus. Sushi Village, so good. That was my go-to cheat meal in college. So, fast forward, after I kept indulging and regretting, it slowly trickled down to where now, again, 4 years later, took a lot of those cheat meals and regrets to get to this point. But now my cheat meal is an extra yogurt bowl, or it's maybe an extra fruit or something like that. Like, just something that I typically have because I really focus on quality food. It's the same quality, just as much quantity as I want. And when you're eating those good quality foods, high protein, fruits, single ingredient whole foods, like, your body can only take so much of that. It's because it's actually giving you that satiation that you're supposed to be getting that these processed foods don't give you. So all that to say, like, that's why I don't like the all or nothing, is because you learn. And if you truly do want to take the time to get into this healthy lifestyle, you just like anything else. One of the biggest things I hear from entrepreneurs that I listen to a lot of entrepreneurs now is you have to fail. You have to fail because you only learn from it. We hear it all the time when we're growing up. You learn from your failures.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yeah,
on
and
it.
alcohol, I can say, definitely plays a factor. Not to wrap it all back in to button it up, but thinking back, usually when I end up slipping up, I love that chicken cutlet wrap, man. I think that's part of it. Is like, you've tasted stuff that you genuinely like. So when you're teetering on that gray area, you're like, oh, but you like it so much. Just have it. And I want it.
Yeah. Now, let me add this too, because this is important to mention why it's, I don't want to say easier for me, but it's much more, I don't even simple. I don't know what the word is, but I also have the education behind it, right?
Yeah.
So perfect example with the chicken cutlet. The reason I don't eat something like that or a cheesesteak, we live in Philly. The reason I don't eat that kind of stuff is because two things. One, I know the ingredients that are in it, and I know what those ingredients are doing to my body, right? So it's and that's the same thing with alcohol. I know.
So we just don't. We have a
effect.
different outlook.
So
on it.
when I think about those foods, I think about, okay, I know
Right.
this cheesesteak has canola oil, processed American cheese, and I know that my stomach is not going to digest that well. And that gets into number two is how it makes me feel. I am so far into eating whole and real food that when I have one little bad quality food, forget about it. I'm clearing out a room. It's terrible.
Right.
It's
Whereas
horrible.
I'm just saying in my head it's unhealthy. So like you can exit off, and you're dumbing it down to like specific ingredients
right
at a higher level.
Yeah, I'm
So-
literally thinking about, for example, cake, cheesecakes. When it was just the holidays, I'm not eating those because I don't think they're good or because of the calories. Right? Calories, I need them. I'm doing heavy training right now.
Yeah.
It's because I literally think about, this is gonna be ridiculous to say, but what I think about in my head with that cake is it going in, breaking down into glucose, that glucose spiking our blood sugar, that blood sugar having an effect on my insulin, then getting into insulin. Like, that's literally
Yeah.
what goes through my head.
That's wild.
So I have
You're
a
a fucking
huge,
nutcase.
I have a huge
You're a
advantage. That's
nutcase.
why this is so good, because you can really relate to that, where it's, again, I don't want to say easier for me, but it's very different.
Yeah. The last time I got sent down a slippery slope, when I started with the DCs, we were together. We were in Cincinnati. We did a bar crawl. I had a couple drinks. You didn't have too many. Now that I'm looking back,
I won.
you had one. Where we went to a dynamite Mexican spot, and I was picking your brain, and you were like, Diet Coke is better than a beer. It's better than you weren't advocating for it, but you were explaining what it was a good alternative for. So I said, all right, I'll have a Diet Coke. Whatever, twist my arm. I'll have a Diet Coke instead of a Miller Lite. The next day I had Diet Coke. The next day I had Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. Then I started eating, and then gone. So all in all, I used you as an excuse. Anthony said it was good. I can do this.
Yeah.
Anthony said it was good. All of a sudden, I'm down it. But that's on me. I think my point is, if you're able to internalize it and say, am I just using him, her, that environment as an excuse? Most of the time you are.
Yeah. Can I side note that? Do you remember when I slipped away for like an hour or two? I went on a little walk.
At the tailgate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to this little organic market, and they had yogurt, fruit.
Yeah, you came back with kombucha at the
And
tailgate.
kombucha, it
Said
was
anyone
so good.
anyone want one? We were ripping tequila shots. Anyone want some kombucha?
It's got alcohol in it.
That shit's ass.
Dude, stop. Stop. That's so good.
Oh, my mom likes that stuff.
Good. Probably because of me.
It's in our fridge. I'm like, can we stop buying this?
No.
Right.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
But it's so good. But
It's not.
yeah,
good.
anything else on the society
Yeah,
side?
I mean, I
thing?
just straight up wouldn't recommend kombucha. It doesn't taste good. Oh,
That-
on society.
That's your takeaway?
That's my takeaway
That's
from
right.
this.
We
from this
got
whole
deep at one
conversation.
point. We got deep
Yeah,
in the
got
first
deep.
10 minutes.
Yeah, I
and-
almost cried.
And the kombucha is the takeaway?
No, I wouldn't say
You
it's
were
a
tearing
take.
up?
What?
You were tearing up?
No.
You just said it.
What? I got the sniffles. It's cold out here. It's like 2
Oh.
degrees.
Yo, wait, hold up. My toes frozen.
Yeah, I just, I'm not playing with the mic as much.
All right, wait.
The
can we-
OG listeners
Can we
will
talk
know.
about that real quick before we finish?
Did you
episode
pick up
2?
on something?
No, I just want to finish with this because I wanted to bring it up in the beginning, but I didn't want to call you out.
What'd I do?
the clip.
No, I didn't do it.
No, episode 1.
Oh, I know. I internalized that. I was the first one to say I messed up, and I told for the listener I'm making a change.
You're doing well.
You're gonna go back and watch this video and be like, holy shit, Carson is a stud.
Well, I can already tell because you're not like taking off that on the clip.
At first, you took my mic before this episode started and put the clip. I thought you were gonna take the clip off like I was a child.
No, I was matching it up.
I know.
Had to match it up.
I respect it. I think it was a good episode too.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap up episode 2, jump into episode 3. Appreciate everyone watching, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.